Hello, hello, hello. What's going on? Hmm. All right. Give me a second. We're about to get started on the Village Square. Try again. Nothing going down. All right. So we're about to get started on the Village Square. Welcome everybody. It's been a while since I've been on Facebook. I do it on YouTube now. So if you've been wondering what's going on, that's what's going on. So check us out on Afro-American TV. See, I got the new setup. Everything is, good. What time is it? Is it time to go? Yes, it's time to go. Hold up. Try it now. All right. Hi, JD. I just. It's not on, and you have to give me a few minutes. It's not on. I'm turning it off and on. It's not on. Plus, you have to give me like some few minutes. I start at 8, so I can't be logging on at 8. So you have to maybe make it 55. But you know what? Right now I have to get started because I'm already broadcasting on Facebook Live. So I will have to reach out later. But I'm trying it right now. I turned off my firewall, which is usually somehow the case, and still it is not coming on. So I don't know. All right, no problem. Well, I mean, I'm just saying, I'm putting it on now. It's not working, and you have to change it if you're gonna do it. You have to change it to at least 7:55, so to give me 5 minutes so I can log on. Everything's okay, Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you. Bye. All right. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Village Square. My name is Marlon Solomon, your host today for your community podcast. Village Square is our way to get you the community, the information you need to get you into work over the hump early in the morning every Wednesday. So check us out. This is brought to you by the Afro-American Culture Initiative, a nonprofit organization with the mission to build cultural bridges in the African diaspora through education, technology, and travel. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Afro-American TV, or follow us on social media. So on this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day, we have, this is Wednesday. Right. Oh, goodness. Here I was thinking this is the problem. All right. Let's do that again. stop share. All right. So let's do that again. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Village Square, your community podcast, getting you all the information you need early in the morning. We're getting over the hump of the week, getting you into the work early in the morning, letting you know all the things that our community, our African diaspora community, need to know. My name is Marlon Solomon. I'll be your host for this podcast. I'm the founder of the Afro-American Culture Initiative, which is what this podcast is brought to you by. Our mission is to build cultural bridges in the African diaspora through education, technology, and travel. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Right there. And Afro-American TV. Follow us on social media at Afro-American One. All right. So we want to welcome everybody, of course, to today's Village Square for Wednesday, March 17th, 2021. Broadcasting live on AfroSurge Radio. Today we're doing on Facebook Live, but we always post everything that we do on our Afro-American TV, so check us out over there. So, start off with the state of our village. The state of the Village Square today is jumping the gun. Why do I say that? Because we can't stop wanting to get out and do what we need to do and get our businesses going, and I get it, but there's a cost, and that cost is that people will die because of those choices. Now, I get it. I am the number one person ready to get out there. There's so many things that I want to get, I want to do. There's so many things that I want to get involved with, but what can we do? What can we do? We've got to continue. We've got to continue to social distance, wash our hands, stay fit, wear masks, contact trace, social distance, and vaccinate. We got to continue to do all this, because if we don't, like I said, people will die. Right? So we're jumping the gun, I think. I think we're just a month or two away. And I know that in the long, when we look back on this 2-3 years from now, these 2 months will not be worth the sacrifice. I can guarantee you that. Right now they seem to be, because of course we're anxious. We're ready to go. Everybody, this summer is going to be wild, Joe. I can see it right now, because everybody's just ready, right? So, everybody's ready, and I think that is it's right. Everybody should be ready, but we got to do better, man. We really got to do better. All right. So, before we get started, I would like to play our usual COVID-19 response hub video for everybody. Now, remember, everybody, we have a COVID-19 resource hub. Go to our website, www.afroamerican1.org/COVID-19, and you'll see we've assembled resources that you need, and the community need. So we want you to go there, and we hope that you will continue to go there. We've been getting a lot of response, so thank you.
Adapting to the new normal has taken our family time. As work has changed, so has our lifestyle. We try to stay healthy, exercise, and always have our mask on going out. When COVID-19 began to impact our family, it hit us in ways we couldn't imagine. After the loss of my mother, we weren't sure what challenges could follow. As the vaccination has rolled out, we've done the research to see if it may work best for our family. Until then, our family has tried to remain active in keeping our mental health strong. Together, our family is going to try to remain strong, healthy, and informed.
Yep. So that is, I hope we want you to go to the COVID-19 resource hub on our website, get the information you need in case you need it, right? Now, what we've been doing during this COVID-19, we have a consultation program. It's called the African Diaspora COVID-19 Contact Tracing Awareness Program. That's a lot of words, right? But basically, we're working with community leaders in churches and businesses, where have you, and giving them the information that you need, right? And we're breaking down this information into little consultations and webinars, and we talk about contact tracing, vaccination info, as well as financial info regarding in regards to stuff like the economics, how to talk about the PPP, ask questions as best we can, right? So we need you to reach out to us so we can help you, arm you with what you need to educate your community. There's a lot of issues going on in the community, especially when it comes to breaking all these cultural barriers, getting the trust. Now, people may not know me in your community, but they know you. So let me arm you so you can share the message. What's our message? We have a very simple campaign. It's called Do Your Research, Make the Decision, Join the Fight Against COVID-19. Now, it's a broad thing, but the most important thing we want to discuss is that there's multi-pronged, and we want you to do the research, right? It's not just one way, this way, and only my way. We want you to stay fit, exercise, you know what? Take care of your mental health, go for walks, eat a healthy diet. These are the things that we always need to do, and I've been encouraging people. Last week, we had a great presentation to the Haitian Multi-Service Center, and we wanted everybody to please there's so many things that we can do. Eat healthy, exercise more. If you need to stop, if you're smoking, stop. Use this as an excuse to stop smoking, right? So many things that we can do to stay fit. Of course, the oldies but goodies now, right? Wash your hands. Anytime I see any kind of sanitizer anywhere, if I go to the grocery store, I see the sanitizer post right there, I just use it. It doesn't hurt. It's not going to take anything from you, and you're going to be that much more protected. Wear a mask. Even I now wear two. What's the big difference? If I'm going into a place, I wear one mask, I wear two. Make sure I'm doubly protected, right? Socially distance. I try and stay away from as many people that I'm only around you on a need to be around you basis, right? Especially indoor crowds. Right now, there's a lot of reopening, a lot of, oh, let's go to the club. And I get it, because I would love to go out more, but we still got to stay away at least until you get vaccinated, right? Now, contact trace. We want you, there's an infectious period that lasts from 10 to 14 days. We need you to not be around anybody during that time. Now, when you start showing symptoms, normally 3 days before that time is when you were infectious. We need you to know that so you can remember your contacts. If you remember your contacts, you can help somebody maybe not get infected or infect others. Get vaccinated. We know that there's a lot of fears in our community, and I don't call it hesitancy, because this is not about hesitancy. This is about fear of racism and what it can do to you. I get it, right? Fear of the vaccine and how they're rushing it out and how they're trying to come to us all of a sudden in our communities to tell us, oh, we need to be vaccinated. Yeah, but you should have been doing the communication all before the pandemic. So right now that there is a pandemic, these issues would already be addressed, right? But I'll tell you, everybody, it's safe and effective, and it works. So please, if you can, if you feel the bravery, we need you to do it. take your vaccine, right? If you think it's too fast, take the flu shot, because the flu shot's been around for a while. That will help. Whatever we can do, we want you to do it, because we don't want our hospitals to be filled up. All right. If the hospital fill up, even if you want to have a baby, you can't do it. And they got variants, right? Remember, these variants are like coronavirus 2.0. They're bigger and nastier, and they can do more damage to us and our bodies, right? So please, we want you to do that. This message is brought to you by the Boston Public Health Commission. And yeah, let's get into the show. So, my brothers and sisters, like I told you, we're jumping the gun. I think we are just a little bit too much with the getting back into the coronavirus. We need to relax a little bit, okay? Right now, the numbers are 536,922 souls lost to COVID-19. May their memories be a blessing to all of us. Last week, it was 527,699. So we're now we lost 11,000 lives since the last time I did this podcast. 11,000. Think about that, ladies and gentlemen, right? Seems like nothing. Hey, we're going back to work. We're doing this. 11,000 people that did not have to die, that would not have died had there been no pandemic, died in 1 week's time. Now, yes, it's much better than in January, where we were getting that same amount in 3 days. We were losing somewhere close to over 20,000 people, 25,000 people every week during this. Yeah, so it's better than that. But is it good? No. Yesterday in the state of Massachusetts, we lost 15 souls. Our case numbers are down. Well, no, they're about the same from last week. Texas, generally about the same, the case number from last week, but they've lost 133 souls as opposed to 184 last week. USA as a whole, yes, the numbers last week were significantly higher. I'd say about a third higher. So this week we lost 1,245 people in 1 day, as opposed to last week, which was 1,886. So down about 600 souls. So we're going in the right direction, but it's 1,200 people dying a day. Is that where we want to say we're doing a good job? Worldwide, we're down from 7,200 last week to 6,899, about 300 less. I don't know what to say. I mean, it's pretty, I don't know. Should we say this is the new normal? 1,000 people dying every day. Oh, well. Only 15. Well, I bet you if your family was one of the 15, you wouldn't be feeling so, that it's nothing going on. All right. Give us a little more light. It's just getting, we're in daylight savings time now. So we're enjoying having at least some nice sunlight at this time in the morning. All right. So, and where are we now? I say we're jumping the gun because we're at a plateau. In fact, apparently, 12 states, over a dozen states in the United States are now seeing an increase in coronavirus. So last week we were plateauing, meaning we were just at the same level going across, and now it's beginning to tick up. And what is happening is that people are fearful that it's going to be another surge. Now, luckily, we're going into the warmer months, which are, so that is a good thing. And people are getting more vaccinated. So while we expect to see an increase, we're not expecting to see a huge increase. Okay. But an increase is an increase, and especially with the new variants. See, we don't understand how this virus works yet. It could mutate again, and then we'll have something that would even be like, I guess, coronavirus 3.0. We do not know, which is why we must err on the side of caution, which is why I think that we're about 2 months away And I think the closer we get, the more we're gonna like, look, let's get over with it. I get it. So we gotta do what we gotta do. I understand that the economy is suffering. But so far we're vaccinated and being safe, I think we can be okay. But I do not think that restaurants, I don't think restaurants and clubs and things like that, I don't think those things are vital, right? I just, those things are recreation. We want to go out and have something to eat. We want to go out and have fun. We want to be in a different environment. We want to get out there. I get that. Those things are the issue. And we'll go into a little bit more. 11.8% of the US population has gotten vaccinated, right? That is, we're still very far away, but we're making significant progress. The vaccines have ramped up all over the country. In fact, today, Massachusetts is going to release a plan that will let us know when all remaining people that need to be vaccinated in Massachusetts will know when they will be eligible to get there to set their appointment. Now, we're looking at about April 5th, okay? April 5th is when they're, I guess, saying everybody will be able to get vaccinated. That's also coincides with about the time that they want to start getting all the kids back in school. So basically by April, May, we're probably going to, by April, end of April, we're going to be back to normal, quote unquote. There will be still social distancing. We will encourage people to wear masks. However, there will be a bit of a difference when it comes to, there will be a bit of a difference when it comes to just, there will be some restrictions, but it won't, but especially in the north. See, not every area is different, is the same. Like they're talking about Florida is doing better. Florida is also humid. So Florida is going to have more heat and it's just not going to spread as much. While a place like Massachusetts is not humid and it is going to spread like wildfire. So we have to be cautious. We don't really know how things are going to work, right? As apparently as of Monday, every teacher, which I hopefully will be part of that new teaching regimen at the Boston Public Schools anyway. So I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, teachers will be vaccinated. And this is not a ploy. I'm not joining the teachers of Boston Public Schools. I'm not joining that teaching to get my vaccination. In fact, it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to educating children of color and trying to get them interested in social justice and getting them interested in science and engineering because we need a lot of people at the table. So speaking of the youth, they have begun the trials of vaccinations on kids, right? Now, this is going to be a bit different and it's not going to be as straightforward as how they did the adults because one, if you test children, if you vaccinate children, you must vaccinate a lot of children because there is no way you're going to be able to find if your vaccine is effective as children show less symptoms. You won't know that they have this seriously. So because of the less prevalence of because of the lack of prevalence, right? Then you have to give more kids the vaccine. It takes longer to get the results, but they're saying by early next year, kids should have a vaccine. Under 16 should have a vaccine. So that's very, 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 very good. Speaking of vaccines, Massachusetts, we got like an unexpected 8,000 Johnson & Johnson vaccines. I hope I can get the Johnson & Johnson vaccine because I definitely don't want to go back twice. I want to go once and be done with it. So I'm hoping that I get the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. So, one of the things that is really, of course, we've been talking about it in many ways is that with this vaccine push is fantastic. I think there was a day last week that we actually hit 2 million That's it, right? 2 million vaccinations in one day. It's pretty big, right? We were going at 1 million something before Trump, I mean, when Trump was still in power, even less than that, actually. Yeah, it was less than that because that's why Biden was like saying 100 in 100 days. So as far as Biden's 100 shots in 100 days, in the next, I guess, 3 or 4 days or 5 days, we're going to have, he's going to hit that 100 million shots in arms mark. So good kudos to him. Things are ramping up. So we're very, very happy about that. But what's going to happen when everybody that wants to get a vaccine gets a vaccine? Yep. Think about it. What does that mean? Well, I'll tell you what it means. It tells me that's when we're going to see how many people are truly not willing to take the vaccine. Now, I wanted, at this juncture, I want to talk about hesitancy versus fear. Okay. Now, apparently, due to the misinformation, a lot of the Republicans, the GOP, the Confederates, these people are now being hesitant. Now they're being hesitant because they have no real good reason. They just don't want to do it, right? That's what hesitancy. Oh, I don't want to take it. I'm not sure, this and that. Or I just don't want to take it because I don't believe it. I don't need it. That's hesitancy. What African Americans and Latino people experience is not hesitancy. It is racial fear. Fear of what the white establishment and institutions have historically done to African American, of people of color, not even, African Americans, Latino Americans, Asian Americans, you name it. Once you're colored, is not white, there has been something done to you by the institutions of America. And this is the issue, because sometimes when we talk of, this hesitancy, vaccine, it's really racial, it's really white people hesitancy. But they don't want to say that, because we're hesitant that anything you're involved in, there's going to be a big chance that it's not good for us. Policing, fire department, vaccines, anything that comes from your white establishment. We can't, what are you going to say? Oh, there's no racist people, white people. They are. And we don't know who's who. So basically everything's painted that way. We don't trust anything that you guys give us in general. Let's speak in general. Of course, there are people that do trust. And not all white people are this way. In fact, a small minority are that way. But we can't tell. And isn't after that we grow an extra finger from the front of our forehead because of a vaccine that we're gonna now know, oh, see, they was lying to us. No, we're gonna go on our experiences. And this is where I keep on talking about it, not to create division, but to, in fact, enlighten the fact that I want to put pressure on these organizations to reach out and make the kind of outreach that is needed. All right. In our communities to alleviate this fear, because there were a lot of, they talk about the Tuskegee experiment. There were a lot of things done in the Tuskegee experiment that afterwards there were corrections and checks and balances put into the system. But were those ideas communicated to the communities of color? Where was real inclusion of doctors so we can see? Because what I keep on telling people, this hesitancy, racial fear comes from the fact that we associate the medical community with white people. But luckily I grew up in Nigeria. I don't. I have many uncles and aunties, even ex-girlfriends, whatever, that were doctors. So I know that Black people can be competent, great doctors. And I know, so it's not medicine. That is my issue, is the racial issue. But not to go too much on that, but just let you know that what's happening now is that we don't have access to a lot of these things a lot of these vaccinations, a lot of this healthcare, because there is no outreach in our communities. Some of the greatest research hospitals in the whole of the world that are just 3 or 4 miles away from here, yet they have no outlets in our community. So that's extremely important. Um, um, so now with the vaccines coming, especially in Massachusetts, we're finding out that the coronavirus patients, the average age is dropping. What does that mean? It means that the average person that gets sick and goes to the hospital with coronavirus, the age is dropping. Why? Because the vaccinations are going to the older people. So people that would have been getting sick are not getting sick. Doesn't that make you feel great? That makes you feel great because we're giving the vaccines to the older generation, so they're not getting sick. So the average age is dropping, which means lives are being saved. Makes me feel good anyway, But we're not there yet. This is the issue. We're about 3/4 of the way in, and we still have a ways to go. Just a couple of more months. Let's get everybody vaccinated by the end of May. I will probably be the first person out there swinging my hats in the air. I'll be so excited about that, right? But what can we do right now? All right. So, as many of you know, I have family in Texas, and they've been reopening. Florida and spring break, they're all out there. Now, like I said, people need to be careful. Florida, luckily, is like living in a tropical rainforest. So they have a lot of humidity, and the virus doesn't do well in humidity. So they have a natural buffer. But some parts of Texas doesn't, right? So they have to be very careful. Plus, there's density issue. Texas has everybody spread out, much safer in a way, right? California, Massachusetts, not so much, right? These are the things that these are the challenges that reopening pose to everyone. But that's what it seems. But I'm against clubs. I'm sorry. There's no reason to be shaking your butt anywhere during the pandemic. I get it. And I know the business, support the businesses. How many clubs are there? Support those businesses while they're in this lockdown. That part I'm not going to, we have to support them. But to say that people should be congregating, to be dancing, having fun, drinking, getting drunk, that part there's no way I can say that during the pandemic that is important. Family outings to the restaurant, yeah, I mean, that's really borderline. I understand that. But let me tell you what, these restaurants are not, some of them are way over capacity. They say, oh, certain amount. Nobody's checking, right? But like I said, anyway, it's just a few months left, right? And we need to be careful. Plus, we have these variants. In fact, in Texas, the news is that by the end of this month, the UK variant, the B117, it is the more dangerous form of the coronavirus. That's going to be the dominant strain by the end of March, right? So we have to be very careful. Coronavirus also affects, it's not just you get sick for 2-3 weeks. Some people, but they have long haulers. They exhibit the coronavirus symptoms way after. They like months after they're still experiencing the virus effects. All of us have to be very careful when it comes to that. All of us have to be very careful when it comes to that. All right. So anyway, as far as the economic side is going on, the stimulus has started hitting bank accounts. So I'm glad that is happening. Biden came out with 100 million shots and 100 million checks going out in the next 10 days. So we're very pleased that people are getting the relief. Please, you need to do some research because there's a lot of other information out there. Go to our resource hub. There's some stuff in there with especially with the government stuff. You can get to links that get you knowing stuff about the PPP and all this other stuff. So please check that out. All right. All right. And of course, like I said last week, Black and Latino women are the people who are suffering the most, right? They are losing their jobs. They are making less. They're not getting the jobs back more than any other group. So I don't know. That's why it's tough, because everybody needs to put food on the table, right? Stimulus checks and all these things. In fact, we're lucky. What about those that don't get it? How are they surviving? So we have to be very careful. All right. Now we're going to segue. This is a coronavirus and also a social justice issue. In Atlanta, reports are yesterday, 8 people were killed in 3 Atlanta area spas and massage parlors run by Asian Americans. Now, we all know there's been a spike in Asian American racial discrimination and racial attacks since the start of coronavirus, and now seems to be getting worse. So now let me stop there. Calling up what, Jeremy Lin, from the former NBA player, talked about how he's been called by other players the coronavirus because he's Asian. These things, racial justice, you can't pick and choose, my brothers and sisters. It's not just Black people. Oh, it's not just Latino people. People of color are, it is easy for us to pick out Asian Americans. Oh, you're from China, coronavirus. That is like looking at a Black person and saying, oh, you're dumb, or oh, you have you guys you have the Ebola. Are you sure you don't have Ebola? You're from Africa. It's wrong, it's hurtful, and it does nothing. Especially when then later on, like the next thing I'm talking about is George Floyd. All right. Next thing I'm talking about is George Floyd. And we'll be the first one. Oh, George Floyd, So you think that there's a difference in dead? Is George Floyd death worse than the people that got shot, the 8 people that lost their lives in the Atlanta spas? Not to mention what's going to happen, the impact on the businesses. Because Asian Americans, people didn't go to their stores because they're they've got the corona. Right? And Black people should know better. Okay, Black people, I'm talking to you, African Americans, Latino people as well. We should know better than picking 1 or 2 things and trying to blow it up and denigrate a whole race. All right. So, and these are also losses due to the coronavirus, right? Maybe they're not killed by the coronavirus, but the politicization, the misinformation, the racial fear, and just straight up haterade, man. They're just hating on these people because maybe they got a business. Why did you go to the businesses? You went to the businesses to get them because what? They're working hard to put food on the table. So God bless their souls. May their souls be a blessing. MTZ, welcome. So you're watching us, So so now talking about George Floyd. On March 29th, the trial against the officer Chevin will commence. All right, jury selection is currently in progress. I think the last report I heard, they had like 9 of the 14 jurors. I think it's 12 jurors plus 2 alternates. There's been some brouhaha in regards to the fact that there's been some brouhaha in regards to the fact that because the George Floyd family got a settlement of $27 million from the city of Minneapolis, because they got that, and the jury heard that kind of, it would shift the attitudes of the jury. So the defense lawyer for the officer, the former officer, the officer that had his neck on and his knee on the neck of George Floyd, that officer is now they held him not criminally liable, but civilly liable. So he had to pay money. Right. So I'm sure Attorney Crump is happy. You know, Attorney Crump, that's one thing I learned about Attorney Crump. Attorney Crump is only for the money. He gets a portion of the money. He's not a criminal. He's not trying the criminal case. He kind of comes off as if he's kind of trying the criminal case. But what he does is that he gets the money. So anyway, the criminal lawyer, the lawyer for the police officer, the former police officer, is trying to get the trial moved out of Minneapolis because he believes they're trying to say that the jury pool will be biased. But unfortunately, I don't think that's going to work because everybody knows about this case, right? The whole world was out there protesting because of this case. In fact, it was part of what spurred the formation of the show. I started doing something in regards to COVID-19, but once the George Floyd thing came out, it was imperative that we must have our organization must have some way to reach out to the community to make sure that they're, that they're watching. So, what's next on the agenda? GOP, the Republican Party and their hesitancy. Apparently, a lot of the people that followed Donald Trump, due to the misinformation, due to the politicizing of the coronavirus, are now saying they don't want to take the vaccine, putting all of us at risk. Apart from the fact that what it would invariably mean is that there will be less Republicans at the voting booth in 2022, which I don't think is what they're after. Apart from that, hey, Tony Trimnell, welcome. Apart from this, it just shows that all the misinformation that happened during the election process of Trump trying to get reelected, it is having an effect, and people are not wanting to go get vaccinated, at least Republicans, right? Now, Trump yesterday gave a message on some radio program in which he said everybody should be safe, everybody should take the hey, shout out to Tony, Uncle T. Said everybody should take the vaccine. Now, he said it once. Now, when he was saying that there should not be any vaccination, he went on and on for a long period of time, and he was saying it over and over. It's a hoax. They say this, they say that. Trump was talking so bad about the coronavirus. He said it 1,000 times. Then now you say one quiet time, oh, well, the vaccines are safe and everybody should take it. It's not equivalent. Hello, Monica. Welcome. So these are some of the issues that we have, and it's what's going to stop us from having the herd immunity that we're looking for. Herd immunity is 70 to 80% of the population must be immune in order to stop the virus. And when you have this kind of misinformation, that's what causes it. The misinformation has reared its head in many ways, as we all know. The main one that I say our community has to know about is this issue of voter suppression. There are laws being passed in Georgia, in the state of Georgia, and across the Americas, mostly in former Confederate states and the Midwest, Republican-controlled states, where they are introducing, voter ID, limiting the times and dates, making it so that you have to go and vote on Monday morning when everybody should be at work. They don't want it to be on the weekends. They don't want to vote on Sunday, where, a lot of activity around the Black church, especially in Georgia, where they have a, big Baptist Black church population. So they would use these churches as a place to register and get people to vote. You can't vote on Sunday now. All these crazy laws that are set that are literally directed to stop Black people from voting. Black people don't take it lightly. We're not going to take it lying down. We have people like Stacey Abrams that are fighting the good fight. But I think that the fact that this response is so direct, I think is going to backfire on the Republicans, because you can obviously see now that you're winning. In fact, I remember LeBron James has an ad that he placed on that he has an ad that he pasted on the TV saying that, oh, they saw our actions, they saw how hard we are working, they saw how the kind of effect we did. We voted in Kamala Harris, we voted in Biden, and now they're saying that we have to stop them. And it's so obvious that I think they're gonna get a backlash from the community, because they're gonna make it harder to vote, and we're gonna do it again. And in fact, Stacey Abrams, God bless her soul, she was on a newscast, I think over the last weekend, and she called it the new Jim Crow. For those who don't know, my African immigrant brothers and sisters, Jim Crow was a bunch of laws that followed slavery, right? So instead, when they still didn't want Black people to be free, so they just designed a bunch of laws. You know, like if you can be arrested for not having a job. You know, if you want to vote, you have to pick the jelly bean, you know, and see what color, pick the color of jelly bean, guess it. And if you can guess it right, you get to vote, right? So these are the laws. In fact, they call it Jim Crow in a suit and tie. So these laws are ways of restricting, making it more difficult for people to vote. Therefore, you can't win. They can't win because the demographics, like I said, God is talking. The demographics are saying that we are going to become more. The people of color are going to become more. And then when you add the good white people, the white people who believe in diversity, we're so many that there's no way that they can continue to be winning elections, and they'll never win again. So now they're developing this autocratic mentality. They want to become like Saddam Hussein. That's what dear leader. They want their Trump is their Saddam Hussein, is their Kim Il-jung or Jong-un or whatever they talk. You know, it's their Mugabe. They want to have a leader that they can trust that's going to fight for them. And they don't care about democracy anymore. And that's where the problem is going to lie, because of the misinformation that they're getting is just going to make it so that they are going to constantly be fighting anything that is democratic. So we have a problem. There's another relic, for those who don't know, it's called the filibuster in the Senate. And that law or rule is also a relic of Jim Crow. And what is it? The filibuster says that in order to pass anything in the Senate, you must have 60 of the 100 people vote for it. And that's the only way it can become law. That high bar is what keeps a lot of good policy from becoming law, because it allows the minority, the 40%, once you're 41%, you can win, right? And even though you have 59% of the people voting for something, it's not enough. You need 60, right? That is the same thing. Well, it's not 2/3, that's like for impeachment, but 60 is a lot. Now, this law has been used historically to shut down civil rights law. So it means until we become 60% of the country, that's when, and funny enough, when you add good white people, Black and white people, we're getting there, maybe like 50-something% now. In another 10 to 20 years, we're going to be close to that 60%. So it's going to go down eventually. Like I said, the winds are against them, which is why they're being forced to come out with all this aggression. and all these lies, and nothing that makes sense anymore to the Republican Party. Climate change doesn't mean anything. Pandemic science doesn't mean anything. Uh, Nothing, Green New Deal, everything is scary. Black people coming for you. Well, I have news for them. Black people, we are going to be running the country. Just give us 20 years. It's already starting. And what are you guys going to do then? So they need to get used to it. So the filibuster needs to be abolished so we can stop this voter suppression law. There's a law that was written by John Lewis. Remember the late, great John Lewis of Selma fame, Martin Luther King civil rights fame. It's called HR 1. This is a very important law. And what it would do is require federal standards in regards to voting. So you can't draw the district lines according to what's going to suit you, right? It's going to make it so that you have automatic registration so once you become 18, you just automatically get registered to vote, right? These are the sort of things that would increase access, make it so that you can vote on different days, increase access to the ballot box. Isn't that what a democracy is all about? I think so. So, like I said, all these things, this politicization that we're seeing from the Republican Party is part of this sickness that has to do with them becoming the minority and them fighting tooth and nail to ensure that they are being, that they can remain and hold on to power. And it's really sad. So they're rewriting the history about January 6th, saying that it was Democrats that were the ones that stormed the Capitol in what they call a false flag operation. Florida governor and saying, oh yeah, you know what, the way I handled pandemic was just perfect, when it wasn't. It's just that where you are, it's less density and it's warmer. So the coronavirus does not spread as easy. So you're not really doing as good. You're just lucky, So, everything is bad with the climate change, green energy. Race is now, I'm not being racist, but I support the people that went to the Capitol with Confederate flags. So anyway, let us be very, very cautious because we're going through a dangerous time. We're entering a dangerous time. I think post-pandemic, that's when the fallout will begin and everybody will start chattering and we'll start seeing real issues in regards to this conflict between the white status quo that is trying to still hold on to their power. All right. Lastly, I just want to say that, the stimulus is going to give us, hopefully, an economic boom. There are fears of inflation, meaning that there will be higher prices and less purchasing power. So, of businesses and individuals. So we're working out to that, but apparently things are on the horizon. The stimulus bill is there's a lot of money that can't be spent until next year. So let's just be all hopeful. I know I said the state of the village is jumping the gun, but in some areas there is good reason for hope, but we just shouldn't let that hope push us to reopen too soon and have unnecessary people dying as a result. All right. Now, real quick, I have to talk about my Boston sports real quick before we close out. Let's see. Yeah, so the Celtics lost to Utah last night. They're playing better. But with what's going on in the NBA, with the shortened season, with all this huge tough schedule, there's still a lot of games to be made, and I still think we can make if we can just get our team right, I'm sure we can do much better. And I think we can still get to the Eastern Conference Finals, although it won't be easier. The emergence of Brooklyn, the emergence of Philadelphia, I think those are the two teams that are clearly better than the Celtics. And Milwaukee, I think that it'll be very, very tough. But I think we get to the second round is about where I think we should be. And if we really get it together, hopefully we can get to the Eastern Conference Finals. The emergence of Robert Williams, which has been a revelation, I've been telling them, and it's been really good. So I really think that the Celtics have a great chance to do better. Our young stars, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, are getting better. They just have to learn. They're just young. Everybody keeps on thinking because they've been to the Eastern Conference Finals 3 of the last 4 years. I get it. But they are young. They're young stars. Jaylen Brown's first All-Star game was just, last week. So everybody should just hang tight. I don't think that they're going to use their player exemption, their trade exemption to this year. I think, well, at least now, I think they'll save it to after the year to see where they're going, because there are no real good trades out there. There's no point using something for the sake of using something if you're not going to get better. I do think they could use a couple of complementary pieces like PJ Tucker from the Houston Rockets. Nothing major, just something to add around, because you just need to start coalescing guys and getting that attitude that, look, you can come to Boston and you're going to win, right? But we'll see how it goes. Really tough schedule, a lot of games packed into a lot of different times, but it is what it is. Also, LeBron James is a part owner of the Boston Red Sox, our baseball team, for those who don't know. So that's pretty interesting. I saw a little clip. He said that he was very happy to, the sun coming in. Okay, that's better. Yes. So he said he was very happy because he was going to inspire the youth and let them know that a boy from Akron can grow up to own a Major League Baseball, a part owner of a Major League Baseball team. And he wants to, of course, carry it on and own an NBA team one day. So we wish him all the best. LeBron James outside of basketball I think is extremely cool. But within basketball, I can never get down with. It's hard for me to get down with LeBron James. Everybody's going to say I'm a LeBron hater. I'm not really a LeBron hater. I supported LeBron when he won his championship because he went back home. I thought that was nice, doing something for his home town. But LeBron James, he will. Let me just say it here so everybody will be on record. LeBron James will have the greatest career in NBA history, but he will never be the GOAT. That is from Michael Jordan. It was, he has only 6 championships. It's not the 6 championships that makes it special. It's the 2 3-peats. That's how dominant you are when you are 6-0 and you win 3 in a row. If LeBron can win even 1 3 in a row, then we can talk. Anyway, that's enough of Boston sports. So please stay fit, exercise, mental health, right? Wash your hands, wear a mask, socially distance, stay away from indoor crowds, contact trace, remember your contacts, and get vaccinated, right? Those are our steps. Remember that. Well, this summer, again, I was pleased to announce that we will be launching the Afro-American Academy. Well, this is a pre-launch to the launch. We're going to have a summer session. It's going to be starting from June 28th to August 27th. We're going to have about 7 curriculum, about 200 classes, different stuff about African diaspora culture. We're talking about cultural competency, social justice, financial literacy and entrepreneurship, cultural nutrition, African diaspora history and civics, and of course, African diaspora pop culture. So what's that? We have loads of slides on Oprah Winfrey and some of the fresh, the prominent Beyonce, Whitney Houston, some historical things so people can learn about some of the great heroes in our community. Now, this is a personal project of mine. I'm so excited. It's why I'm going into teaching, at least a bit full-time, part-time to full-time, at least right now, is because I believe that one of the things that we definitely have to do is cut out the racial, the systemic racism in regards to educating our children of color. Now, you have to understand the main issue is that the sensitivities, this America is built in white eyes through a white lens. Okay, so things that hurt the white psychology are not supported or are discouraged because they don't like it, right? They don't, and that has transferred into our education. So you have the Boston public schools giving you this very bland ideology, not said, even if it's taught, it's not taught in a way of empowerment. It's taught, well, you see, Black people were discouraged from doing this, as if it's a technical fact, as if it's history, not tying it into today. That's what our organization is going to be doing. Of course, we also, it's got an underlying theme. The summer session will have an underlying theme of project management and event planning, because we believe that giving our children these tools of how to solve problems and how to critically think and use their science, technology, and engineering, arts, and math to fight the fight is key to the overall success of people of color in the United States. So it's an online course. It'll be online. We're going to do hybrid. We're going to have some online, but we're going to have outings and activities that hopefully we'll be able to take advantage of the reopening to have safe, safe environments for us to, so we're looking at sports, arts, and just a lot of cultural activities. Anything we can get our mind, we can get ourselves into. So, looking forward to that. We're going to need sponsors, and people to support these kids, because I'm not charging the kids, of course, but to operate the program, we're going to need funds. So we need computers, we need mentors, we need apprentices, we need apprenticeships. This program is brought to you by the City of Boston, as well as National Society of Black Engineers. We're going to be getting more sponsors here pretty soon. So just looking forward to that. So that being said, I want to thank everybody for attending the Village Square podcast. This is our weekly podcast every Wednesday early. We get you early in the morning into work, over the hump. I do it on Wednesday because I know that this is the week where we need motivation. I hope I've been able to give you a little motivation to get through the week. Check out our COVID-19 resource hub at www.afroamerican1.org/COVID-19 or email for info at covid19@afroamerican1.org. Remember, we're all about this African diaspora cultural education. And so what we do, we try to bridge the gap between the technical white establishment knowledge and what our people really need and what our people really want to listen to. You can always trust us. We're never going to sell out. We're never going to give you any kind of funny thing. We're going to do the best. If we make mistakes, call us out and we're going to try our best to correct it, right? Follow us on Afro-American One. Subscribe to Afro-American TV on YouTube. Check us out on Eventbrite. We have a lot of events coming up. Yeah, and we'll see you next week. Goodbye. Stay safe. God bless. All right. We're out and we're out. Peace.